Minister Raila Odinga and Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka may end up in the 11th Parliament to play the critical role of opposition leaders. The Code Coalition is plotting to springboard the two back in the spotlight by asking some of its members to relinquish their seats for the two Code principals. The most likely casualties are among the nominated members of Parliament and Senate. Ogina reports on the attempt to give the two Code leaders a second lease of life after the presidential race defeat.
The Code Coalition has mooted a strategy to cushion its leaders, Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, from a 5-year political cold. A planned soft landing for the two is already in the works to have them lead opposition in Parliament and or in the Senate. A plot hatched at the parliamentary group meeting convened at Prime Minister Raila Odinga's current home. After nominating its members to Parliament and the Senate from its party list submitted to IEBC, Code is contending to ask the remaining members listed on the party list to resign from the list. Essentially, the extra members will be standby members for nomination in case of any eventuality to sitting parliamentarians or senators. After the resignations, this would mean Code will have to submit another party list to the Electoral Commission with amendments. But the coalition has a legal technicality to unravel if withdrawing party list from the IEBC is viable legally. If granted to withdraw the party list, sources say the list will be amended to include the names of Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. This to pave way to asking its members in Parliament or Senate to quit their positions, essentially to be filled by the two leaders, breathing a second lease of life in their political careers, either as elected or nominated members. ODM nominated 3 members to Parliament and 4 to the Senate. Among the nominated parliamentarians are Raila's elder brother Oburu Oginga, Isaac Mwaura and Zuleka Hassan Juma, while Janet Ongera, Elizabeth Ongoro, Halima Adil Mahamud and Agnes Nzani are nominated senators, one of whom will be prevailed upon to relinquish their seat for the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Wiper will be looking at Bishop Robert Mutemi Mutua in Parliament to cede his seat for the Vice President to be nominated in the upper house. But reports indicate the Bishop is not keen on ceding power. Equally, Judith Achieng Sinjeni in the Senate is another likely option Wiper might pursue to leave a leeway for Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka if he is to act as opposition leader in the Senate. Code is to hold a second meeting next week before Parliament's first sitting on the 16th of April to crystallize on their options and chart a way forward. Already, Code members had begun propping themselves for the opposition seat, key among them Budalangi MP Babu Namwamba. Ogina, KTN.
Watching KTN Saturday Night Live, thank you so much for staying with us. Of course, Ogina there with a story that we have been following on for a few days now. Let's bring in Councillor Elizabeth Kangete. She is a councillor in the United Kingdom. Thank you so much for joining us on KTN tonight. You're a Kenyan, you grew up in Kenya. How did you end up being a councillor in the UK?
Well, I think if we're talking about politics, I did not start joining politics in UK. Already before I left Kenya, I was working with the Electoral Commission of Kenya. I was a returning officer. I've worked very closely with the Electoral Commission of Kenya. And being a head teacher, because I was a head teacher before I left, I think you know, teacher actually kind of so much into politics. I knew there was something in me. And Obama too was an inspiration for me. So when I went to the UK, my background as a teacher, I was working with the Kenya Scouts. And that exposed me also to so much leadership because I was one of the leaders, the Girl Guide leaders. So there was so much.
It was an easy flow into it. How long did it take you?
Well, when I went to the UK, I interacted with the local community through the Scouts and as a teacher too. And I was helping actually the immigrants to interact with the locals there. As a teacher, I really became kind of like the liaison person for them. So I also happened to have met the local MP who, for whatever reason, she just loved me and she wanted me to be helping her in the office. So I kind of got so much into politics and, you know, she thought I could be a voice for the people.
So You were in the UK when Kenyans were voting for the next president. Of course, right now we have President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta. And a lot of the sentiments that we have received is that Kenya has matured democratically, putting in mind what happened in 2007. Is that a sentiment you share?
I do. I think one of my congratulatory note, I did say that Kenya has come of age. Kenya has really matured, because I think there was so much stake, especially the Western world. People did not expect Kenya really to come out clean or peaceful like we did. And I think we've really come of age where when we win or we lose, we really accept whatever happens. And this has been a real great move for the Kenyans. We really appreciate what has happened, and that is what I mean by we're mature enough now. We can understand that when we go into politics, it's a game of lose or win, and whoever loses, whoever wins, we go for it, and life continues.
Exactly. When you go into politics, it's a game of lose and win, and our level of maturity is dictated by how we treat the people who win and the people who lose. Of course, Prime Minister Raila Odinga lost this particular election, and there has been a lot of talk really of how this whole thing has played out. You are from the UK, and Gordon Brown lost his seat as well as the Prime Minister. How is he being treated in the United Kingdom? And relate that with Kenya. Really, Raila Odinga may not have won the presidential seat, but he has played a critical role in the country. How are these men and women who have played critical roles in countries in Africa, how are they supposed to be treated?
Well, if I look back at, Gordon Brown happens to be a leader of my party. I'm a member of the Labour Party, and really it's good to look at what role one has played, or what one has given to the country. Well, I do respect, with all due respect, I respect Honorable Raila Odinga for whatever he's done, but I believe it also depends on how one perceives. When I lose, for example now, when I'm campaigning, if I lose really, I should go in and consider and work with the people. And I think that is very, very important. And then actually, the people's perception depends on the individual, My way, what I tell my people after I lose or I win, what I tell my people, we really determine how they treat me. So I think, Honorable Raila Odinga has done a lot for Kenya, and with all due respect, he's lost. But I believe he deserves all that respect also, and he also, in turn, deserves to respect the incoming government, and there we go. We will work together, we move together, and that's exactly what's happening in the UK. We do respect Gordon Brown so much. He played a vital role, but there came a time when really things didn't work out for him. And so really we respect him for the part that he played for the Labour Party, but a time came when we felt we needed a change, and we got a new person, we got a younger person, and we were doing okay. We do respect him, we do invite him for our meetings, we do invite him sometimes to come and give us talks, and I think that is the mature way of approaching this, because I believe even Honorable Raila Odinga has got something that he can come and give,
Because he has vast experience.
That cohesion is very, very important, because at the end of the day, we are all Kenyans.
And he has a huge following, so to speak, because this is a very close race.
He has. I believe, can I say as a politician, there is that ill feeling of when I lose, that acceptance. It's not easy coming. It's not an easy one. So I can share the sentiments, and I know how when one loses, I can share, and I know how they feel. But I believe, it's okay. They can work together.
Right. So right now we have a devolved system of government. Of course, we have governors, senators, women representatives, and all. But just days after they were sworn in, some of these men and women are actually asking for pay hikes. What's going through your mind when you hear such stories?
I'm sure they wouldn't like to hear my sentiments, but I believe work fast, ask for the pay. What are we paying for? Really, they should go show us that they are ready to work, show us what they are doing, and then the pay will come, the pay rise will come. The people will not even struggle for it. But at the moment, I believe these people should first of all take their offices, start working, show the people what they are doing, and then start demanding for the pay rise, really. And I believe Kenya at the moment, where we are economically, we can move ahead, but I think they should not be asking for these huge packages. Go and work fast. That is why the people have voted for you. You are a servant of the people. Money should not come fast. But this will not go so well when people start asking before you have even gone to the office. and you start asking for an increase in your pay package, really, I don't think is the right thing.
Yeah, because the sentiment really is they knew how much they're going to get when they were getting into this. If they knew this was not enough, they shouldn't have gotten into this whole political race. But is this a headache you face in the UK in terms of pay packs? Because the other day we saw David Cameron actually missing a seat on a train and comfortably reading his paper. And your political leaders, how are they paid? Is it a headache you share?
First of all, can I say, as a councillor, what I get is an allowance. It's not a job. I'm still working as a teacher. And before I apply to...
So you work as a councillor and a teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Before I go for that, before I apply to be voted in for as a councillor, I have to go through the paperwork and know how much allowance I'm getting. And I believe every leader knows that. So before you go in, you already know how much money you're going to get, whether it's an allowance, whether it's a pay. And I believe maybe later, you know, with time, they could get the pay rise. But I believe at the moment, these people should not be asking for a pay rise, really. That will not go well with the public, and it will not go well even for me. I believe they should first of all go and work, because by the time they took the oath, by the time they took the offices, they knew what they were expecting.
All right, finally, before I let you go, you're a Kenyan, you went to the UK, you got into politics. What sort of reception did you get?
Well, like any other place when you're a foreigner, it's not that easy. But can I say in Kenya, and in UK, and I believe that's where we are heading to in Kenya, when it comes to for example, for the politics, you know, councillors, the government gives in there are three councillors in a ward, and the priority is one seat should be a woman. The next is at least we should consider a black and ethnic minority, and then the rest can follow. So it's not that easy, but at least I had the 2 ticks when I went in, because 1, I'm a woman, 2, I was a member, or I am a member of the black and ethnic minority, which I believe is very, very inclusive. And I believe that's where we are heading in Kenya. But there is one issue that I'd like to comment about women taking posts. I believe in Kenya, the women, we're not coming out strong. We really need to come up strong, and really, we have what it takes. We can do it. You know, and I'm challenging our women now to really wake up. We have it, we can do it. And I believe the government will also play a part and include the women in the senior offices, be it nominations, be it in the elective posts. Women also need to be considered.
Which ward do you represent in the United Kingdom?
I represent Paslow's ward, that is in Barking and Dagenham.
Paslow's ward?
Yes, that is in London Borough of Barking and Dagenham.
Elizabeth Kangethe, thank you so much for sparing time to speak to KTN. Elizabeth Kangethe is the councillor in the United Kingdom. Right there, she has told you she represents Paslow's ward. Yeah, in the United Kingdom. Thank you for sparing time to speak.